And with that, I want to welcome everybody to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt DiOrio, your host. As always, we are joined by pretty much everybody from last week. Minus VK. He had to pick up his way from the airport, so he may crash later. We'll see. But returning, we've got someone that is very excited about what's happening in, for his Red Sox tonight. Soldier First Class, Alexander Moffat. And also joining us from Final Fantasy Weekly, also beat writer for the Rockies. That is also kind of understanding my somberness after the announcement of yesterday that Charlie Blackmon is retiring from the Rockies. Drew Creasman.
Yeah. What's happening?
And then the beanied one, Gerard Barrera.
How's it going? Booyakasha! What's up, everybody? All you nerds out there, thank you for joining. Boys, what's up? Welcome back. Part 2, part Deux. Let's do this.
No. We did it. I did it right. Part Deux.
Part Deux. Part Deux. I love it.
Hot Shots reference there.
Classic Charlie Sheen.
Yep. And we've got over there playing Cult of the Lamb back to his game playing during the podcast shenanigans is babyface one, Theo Walski.
Yeah, baby.
The fun fact for everybody, that countdown at the beginning of the show is how long it took me to lose my virginity.
Amen, brother.
Now I gotta follow that up with Jason's intro. Damn.
Just add to that. Matt's like, now I have to edit that thing.
5 seconds.
Oh no, I ain't editing that shit. I don't do that shit anymore. And then, ladies and gentlemen, our major G services, the man with the couch, rocking the RPD shirt. That was the game at E3. We basically birthed this whole podcast idea from. The man, the myth, the legend, the lion's mane, Jason Bolidio.
Booyah!
How's it going, guys? How's it going? Welcome back, Drew. Welcome back, Soldier. I am ready to go back at it because I had a two-minute drill of explaining my
summary, a little amuse bouche. It was
a week of preparation at this point.
So we back at it. I'm excited to have you guys back to talk more of it. And you guys have all been wrong. It's not part 2. This is, Crashing Game Night with the guys Rebirth. Come on, get out of here, guys. Come on. It was there for you guys.
Come on. I love it.
Right. Low-hanging fruit.
I know.
Really? It really was right there.
It's right there. Come on, guys. Come on.
So let's just
I feel jealous about the shirt because I'm a day late. I literally wore that yesterday.
What a jerk.
Yes.
So let's get into this.
It's still
we would have been
fresh. You
twinsies.
could go put it on right now. Just saying.
It's in the dirty clothes. No, I can't.
I mean, so let's get into this.
You didn't have to. It was dirty. Nobody would have known.
No, I mean I could, but I have to dig it out, and I'm too lazy.
Yeah, well, so let's talk about this. So, Jason,
you make me sound productive.
We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about with this. Jason, you had the 2-minute drill at the end of the show.
Yeah.
One of the big things you want to talk about was actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And mechanics.
Dude.
I, sir, am going to give the floor to you to start things off.
All right. Well, then.
Bloody shirt and all.
By the way, I'm ready for blood.
Filibuster this.
Yeah.
I'm ready for blood.
Gerard can sit this one out because he didn't play the game. So
Ew.
He didn't beat it.
No.
So
he didn't beat it. He didn't beat it himself.
Okay.
Anyways, no, the gameplay, that's what I wanted to get into last time because it was just so good. We have all the characters that we had from the original, and I'm gonna call it original versus Rebirth remake, because then all of it's gonna be easier to be distinguished. But we had all the originals, and we had the full story that we wanted to get from them. So I mean, it did give you that story, but now that we have it in the Rebirth and the remake, you have them all fleshed out way better. You can relate to them more. You can also see the differences of how, for example, Rebirth intermission even, and you see how Yuffie is that kind of one track mind, let's just throw it all out there. The consequences are moot. Like, but she has that like total, I don't know what the correct word is, but it's she's there. She's has that goofy, that comedic
Angst.
side that we all want. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that I personally wanted to see, and hopefully it does happen in the next one, is that obviously, yes, we do want Vincent and Sid to be playable. You know, like I don't know if Sid may or may not be. Vincent, please. Oh
Yeah,
my God, that is
definitely.
like. That
I
is-
kind of feel
that
like
is
if Sid's not
dreams.
playable, it's gonna be really negative from the fan base because everybody was like excited to see him in this game,
Yeah,
but everybody, a lot of the, I don't know 100%, but like the consensus I got was that a lot of people thought he was toned down a lot and are hoping that part 3 not only fleshes out his character and brings back the old Sid, but
Yeah.
also makes him playable because that's what a lot of people were wanting from
Yeah.
him was like this playable character because everybody loves Sid.
Yeah, I
So-
get it both ways. Like if he is or if he isn't, that's fine for me personally. Because yeah, like with a lot of Final Fantasies nowadays, we don't have Sid as a playable character. Like back in the day, he was. Um, but now it's like he's always been the like glue, I guess you could say, to a lot of the Final Fantasy adventure. You know, you always have what, Sid, Biggs, and Wedge. You know, those three are always the ones that are always gluing the story to a certain degree. And I like that they just, you know, kept kept them off right now, which is acceptable because we have the whole party moving around, moving about. Um, but the gameplay is what I wanted to get to. Is like you guys, Drew and Soldier, pointed out last time, is that this is the way that we are going into the new wave of turn-based JRPG. I like it. I like that there's always action going on, but you can slow it down for a second as ATB. You know, I hope they keep this momentum all the way through. Like from this point on, I hope that all the Final Fantasies stay this way because it is class, it is the old school method with the, I guess, the ADHD. Don't get at me, but the like little like niche of like just always having to do something, and the waiting for the ATB bar it's a thing of the past. It was because they didn't have the power to do so for the consoles, but now that they do, yeah, you have something to do in between. You have like you can switch around, you can not have to worry about any of that going on, like, or like you watch all your people like, oh come on, block, like come on, dodge something for Christ's sake. But
I remember when I first moved to college and I explained to somebody that my favorite video game, this would have been in 2005, by the way, so I'll do it that way too. And I was telling somebody that my favorite video game franchise was Final Fantasy. And it's like, dude, I just don't get those games because whenever you're in a battle, you just stand there and let the enemy hit you. That's so dumb. You should move. And like I get that, like I grew up with them and I have understood what turn-based, but I think for a lot of normal people, that's always been a huge barrier, right? And
The
there's always been this
patience.
weird mental hurdle of like, why am I just standing there and letting them
Yeah.
hit me? Even though, like we know, it's just whatever. It's a video game mechanic. Just get over it. It's representation of a battle. It's a tactical thing. You can do all that and it's still just a normal person's going to be like, so yeah, it's like you say, it's a similar system, but you can move and block and dodge and counter and those types of things.
yeah, and I do love that they introduced the pairing to
Drew,
Rebirth.
real quick.
No.
All of a sudden, all I could hear is dodgeball in my head as you were doing that.
Which part of dodge, dip, duck,
Dodge.
dive, and dive.
5 Ds of dodgeball.
Remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball, kids.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah. So I mean, I love that they added the parry system, because you're rewarded for it. You know, like
Mhm.
it incentivizes you to just block, to do some defense, because I feel like some of the games that they have before, like you can just hack and slash, wail it out, and no consequences. But here you are rewarded rather than being, being penalized. Yes, you do get penalized by getting hit by something hard. 9 times out of 10 you can recover, but here if you block correctly, then you're rewarded, and that's it. And it's a good feeling when you hear that perfect parry. You're just like, oh yes, I did it. Oh, amazing. It keeps you
Warm and
fighting
fuzzy,
harder
yeah.
and longer. I like that additive that they put it in the gameplay from Rebirth to Remake, or from Remake to Rebirth. I hope they keep it in there. It's going to be nice. But overall gameplay, I could not ask for anything more. The story was on tempo. Everything was, explained out. The side quests, the map discovery was a little bit more excessive. I did not like the amount of mini games you're forced to do. Like, if they took that maybe in half, do one, fine. Like, do one major, like a few, one time only. But for example, all the proto relics, you had to go through every freaking Fort Condor battle, or you had to do all these other things. And it's good if you want to do that, but don't force it as in order to get this, you have to do all these things. And
You know what
didn't
people
like
had
that.
the biggest problem with? Queen's
Gaga?
Blood. Queen's Blood. Like, out of the mini games, that was the one I saw the most complaints about. And then
I found it
I think it was kind of 50. I think it was kind of 50-50 a little bit, because I made a tutorial on Queen's Blood,
yeah.
and it was like a lot of the comments were like, "This is stupid. Why do I have to play a card game? I hate this. Blah blah blah." But then you hop over on Twitter, and everybody's like really positive about it, and then it's like, what is the?
Yeah.
It was almost like
I-
50-50. A lot
I
of
feel like
people
it's
loved
like a
it, and a
triple
lot of
triad,
people.
that's
I
what I saw it
loved-
as.
I had fun
loved
with it.
Queen's Blood because of Triple Triad.
Yeah.
I loved Queen's
Specifically.
Blood.
I couldn't stand, I didn't like the card game in 9.
I didn't either.
I just never could grasp it and understand it. Like, I love Triple Triad, and playing Queen's Blood, once you got the hang of it, it was like Triple Triad, right?
Yeah.
Jason, to your point though, right, from a games mechanic, I didn't like, and this is the same problem I have with Tears of the Kingdom, being forced to do certain things, certain mechanics. I just, some of the mini games that they forced you to play, I wasn't a fan of. I think for me though, one of the other things was with the side quests. As much as I liked having a lot more side quests, some of them just felt like side quests for the sake of side quests, and didn't really add a lot of value and
they were just
backstory
literal
or
side quests.
context. They were just literally,
Oh, like go to
do
A to B, fight this,
Go
at
to A to B,
and then you get this
so
real quick.
I thought the side
Um,
quests were 1,000 times better than they were in Remake, though.
Oh no, don't get me wrong, they were better, but just the fact is that there were some of those that were just
Right.
there
The,
for the
the
sake of
chicken
it.
one, the infamous chicken one.
That
Yeah.
shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious,
was
but holy shit, was it
Why?
tedious.
Yeah.
Why?
But why?
Nobody trolls their own
I
things
do-
better than the makers of Final Fantasy.
So I do like
Hideo
this time
Kojima
around though.
sometimes, but just not as often. Like, they're so much better at it because they're so more practiced at trolling their own fans.
Yeah. And
So
speaking of trolling, while we're on that point, please, Square Enix, I love you to death. I wish I have a job with you guys. I still will adamantly request and
he's still waiting for the
Please.
janitor job.
please.
Did you notice that he says
either
it to
way.
him after he jabs them for saying, speaking of trolling?
No,
Mhm.
this is
Let's
the thing
let's
that
talk
I
about Square
feel
Enix for a
that
second.
I feel that everybody in here will agree with me on. Please do not have another region like Gongaga. Please.
Yeah.
That was
do not.
rough. The exploration was rough. I liked the area.
The area? Beautiful.
Like, the area is cool looking. It's very, from a visual standpoint, it's
yeah.
really nice. From the music is awesome. Like, the people you interact with in Gungaga are nice. The
Yeah.
exploration, holy shit, did I
Yeah.
hate it so much.
The exploration, I could kill myself twice.
I thought there was going to be a little bit more with the on the chocobos, actually grinding down the walls and more exploration that way. But yeah, the rest of it, I agree.
The thing I didn't like was the platforms and the mushrooms, and like you had to use mushrooms
the
to get to certain
bouncing
places.
from
Bouncy
place to
shrooms.
place.
Yeah.
And there
I
was
kept
no
trying to,
like,
okay, how do I get to this area? Like, there's got to be a way to get here.
Yeah, because
Right.
the
There was
map
no,
is
like,
completely
guide.
topical.
Damn time. Yeah.
It's completely topical. It gives you no like this is raised up, this is not raised up. It is just
Like,
here's
why?
a line. Here's
Cosmo
another
Canyon
line.
was that way too for
It's
me.
like,
I
yes.
thought it was a really beautiful area. I obviously loved the music. That was probably some of the best music in the entire game.
Yeah.
But it was like the fact that when you look at the map, everything looks like it's obviously it's a map, but it looks like it's on this flat plane.
Oh
And
yeah.
like then there's like a cave that you have to get to, but the only way you can get to it is to like go up this really obscure side path that you can't even see.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
because
like
it's blocked by a line which you think is a wall, but no, it's just a bridge.
yeah.
That's that is above another bridge, but you have to go on the bottom bridge, and you're just like, what?
Right.
the
Well, there
heck?
was a spot in the
Jeez.
very beginning, like when you first land in Cosmo
Yep.
Canyon, there's that shack. Right behind that shack is a pathway to a very important spot, but
Yeah.
you don't know that if you don't like if you're not specifically looking for it, it's just behind that shack and you have no idea it's there. And I accidentally found it when I was looking for one of the map points, and I'm like, this is not very well mapped out. Like,
Yeah.
how the hell was I supposed to find this without searching for 3 hours?
I love that they tried to make a good exploration of it, but there are points in time where you're just like, come on, man. Like I was getting so frustrated at Gongaga, and then at the same time, it's not even like banging music like Cosmo Canyon. It's just like this.
Dude, I love Gongaga.
Can't.
I love
think
you
Me
Gongaga's
too,
music.
yeah,
Crazy,
I
man.
know.
Like,
So,
I love
yeah,
that.
I know it's.
I went and bought
generalism.
the part of the soundtrack,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
specifically
the
for
music is,
Gongaga.
the music is
Yeah.
amazing. I actually like the music more in this game than I did
Yes.
remake.
Now, one of the things I do have to say is I did like it more that it was easier to grasp the mechanics of how to trigger your summons this time around. That was the one thing in remake. It was frustrating that I couldn't figure out that trigger point to always constantly get the summons queuing up. This time around, it was much easier to get that figured out and rock with it.
Some of the quality of life things that they had from remake
Yes.
was
I
definitely
I like
there.
that I do
in
like
Rebirth.
as much as I have some certain complaints about exploration and like the repetitiveness of the things that you find in the world. I think I do love the fact that like it rewarded you for exploration. Like if you wanted to get one of the
Mhm.
summons, like say you wanted to get Odin and you wanted to like do the easier fight so you could get him, go explore, go find the things that make his fight easier. Like
And
that those are the kind of
Yes.
rewards that I want to see Square Enix doing from now on. Not necessarily like
And then
the
they turn around and give you a
thing that you
Jimbo's
do-
Island.
right. The thing that
Same
you
fuck
do
you.
is not
Yeah.
necessarily what I want them to repeat, but the end result is what I would like because
Yeah.
I think they had a good system going where exploration is rewarded in other ways. It kind of interweaves with everything else in the game.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, I think the Ubisoft checklist style wasn't necessarily what I would have wanted 100%.
Exactly.
But I think it worked. I don't think it was like the worst thing in the world. I think it worked, but it just to me, I think after I had finished every region in the game, I was just like, I got to the final region of exploration, and I'm like, I really just do not want to find another rock formation ever again. I don't want to. I
I
don't
think
want to
it's-
go and do this again. Like get all the towers again and get all the
yeah.
like the mini boss fights you did were great. Like I thought those were awesome, like the hunt style
The
things.
fiends. Yeah.
Oh, for the research, yeah.
But they were
Mhm.
varied. Like they were varied fights. They weren't like the same fight over and over again. They were varied, but the towers, the rock formations, all that stuff was very repetitive, and that's where it kind of got me in the exploration. Even though there was a reward for doing those things, they still felt like getting there was tedious.
See, I think it's great that they have it. Yes, I'm kind of yes and no about the checklist. I personally would feel better if they had it like the if it was yes, you have certain points just like the towers, and that's how you find out about him, rather than like, oh, here's like
I think
this many things that you have to do, but you don't know where they are. But if you find the towers, then it's up to you to explore that. Like your map should be like open only because all those things that they did do, which they are probably going to do again, was they added all those little pieces of lore in between everything, whether it be Chadley and Mai, or like with the exploration of the summons. You got a little bit of lore of the summons. You got a little
Correct.
bit of lore of the region, which even if you look on the pause menu, you know, it tells you all that stuff as well. And I feel that was great in just adding that little extra bestiary kind of thing, like of the world of the region. So like it does add that little extra oomph. Some of it unnecessary, some of it too long, like little side quests within the side quests of like, oh, you have to mission clear, like you have to stagger the enemy, you have to pressure the enemy and beat it within the time limit. Kind of a little excessive, kind of just like, hey, like do this, beat them, grab the item, get out. You know, and you can repeat it if
So
you need to farm. Like I feel like some of the farming that you have to walk, like run around collecting all these things, like Horizon style, unnecessary. You should be able to grind it out old school style, like fighting the Marlboro multiple times because you want to get the Marlboro mouthpiece, like, you know, or the Quetzalcoatl Talon multiple times. You should have that ability to just find it, fight it again. Yes, grind it out, cool, but at least you know you're grinding it out for something versus I have to run around this whole map to pick up Benisons for transmuting something, and you know that's
so
annoying as hell for me. Like that's I don't like that. I
so
hope that they bring back the grind aspect versus the let's walk around in circles for ever looking for things and trying to pick things up.
Explore for the sake of exploring.
So Drew, you've been kind of a little quiet when it comes to the game mechanics of Rebirth versus Remake, right? What were some of your favorite additions to the model?
You mean gameplay wise?
Yes, gameplay wise.
I mean, the biggest thing for me, and actually this is kind of an answer anyway, but was the team stuff. All of the interactions between the teammates in battle was just absolutely phenomenal. And in addition to that, like, because with Final Fantasy, combat is always this combination of like combat itself and character progression, right? The materia system and how you're growing your characters. And I really loved that there was that it was all entangled. The decisions that you would make in the story that would highlight, you know, certain characters or enhance Cloud's relationships with certain characters that would then open up different abilities for them to be able to use together in battle. And then you would use those, you know, and then that's actually just something that my brother and I on our show have been asking for Final Fantasy to return to. Actually, they've never done it. Chrono Trigger, which we consider to be an honorary Final Fantasy game because it was made by a lot of the same people and they used to include it in like Final Fantasy collections and stuff. And it's like, you guys had this super rad mechanic that, again, one of the great things about every Final Fantasy game, even Final Fantasy games that you don't love, usually people like the characters and they like the character interactions and seeing the characters interact with each other so that they have these team up attacks, right? It just really allows you to drive that home that much further. So it enhances the theme, it enhances the story, while also just being like another really cool old school Final Fantasy thing was that, right, they kind of pioneered this idea of the cutscenes, the FMVs and stuff. And they were like these little graphical rewards for having progressed far enough. They always felt like, ooh, I beat a monster, I did a big thing, and now I'm treated to a cutscene, right? It was like this graphical reward that you get. And I felt like every time you got a new team up attack in Rebirth, it felt very much to me like old school Final Fantasy experience of what kind of crazy graphical nonsense, like Aerith's gonna create a massive sphere and then Tifa's gonna dart around in it. It's gonna be some of the coolest shit you've ever seen in your life. And I'm like, yeah, right on. I feel rewarded for having unlocked that, not only because it's, you know, an attack that does a lot of damage or whatever in battle, that's all great too, but that you get to see them interacting, and then you're treated to this like graphical masterpiece. And there were so many of them. So that was definitely my favorite addition. They smoothed out a lot of the aerial combat, which was one of my bigger problems with Remake. You know, I think just by nature of what it is, it was going to be able to smooth a lot of those things out, because Remake had to take place in a lot of hallways and a lot of confined spaces. There's not a lot of room to roam in Midgard.
That makes sense, because it was a linear game.
Yeah, well, and,
Yeah.
and it needed to be, just
Yeah.
because, again, there's not a lot of room to roam around in Midgard in a police state, a dystopian police state. You can't just go wandering around.
Right.
Now that you're out in the world, much like the original Final Fantasy VII, that's when you kind of start to get to explore things. And so, but just from a logical standpoint, it literally opened up the fights so that you could be darting around everywhere. I love how the characters who aren't in your party are just kind of there in the background, like shooting random magic stuff in. It doesn't do anything, but it gives you the feel that they're doing something.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things overall about Rebirth, is that it felt like the whole party was there. Obviously, at times in the story, different characters go off and do everything, but the whole party was there the whole time, as opposed to just the 3 people you're choosing to travel with. They're all always interacting,
and they're all making their own
one
comments too.
Yeah,
You're like making random, just like
I do think that
Kate
overall
Sith's-
that's the best thing about Rebirth, is that they all have interactions with each other now, because it used to just be everyone has a relationship to Cloud,
yeah,
right? But now Yuffie has a relationship with Barrett. And how great is that, right? Them going back and forth with
I
each other.
I loved Kate Sith running his mouth.
Right, at everybody, right? How about the buddy cop film, the ongoing buddy cop film of Barrett and Red 13? Like, how great are they?
That was like Lethal Weapon.
It's fantastic. But like, these are the kinds of things that, you know, in the original didn't really exist. They didn't interact with each other a ton, and we didn't get to see those kinds of things.
It immersed you more in the game.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
If you guys could have one request, and I want to roundtable this between, I know Theo's going to just sit there playing Cult of the Lamb because he doesn't care about Final Fantasy. So I'm going to present this to you guys, right? And Drew, I'm going to lead this off to you guys. If you could pick one thing that you want to see in the third one, whatever they're going to title it, right? Whether it's a quality of life thing, or you just want to really see them do something, what is that one thing that is your most kind of like requested item on that list to be included?
That's a tough question.
I already know mine.
All right,
I actually know mine too.
Okay,
start off on that side.
Quality of life, materia loadouts.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
What's wrong with the loadouts?
Yes,
dude.
Okay.
That would help.
Come on, man.
Like maybe like an able to do a quick loadout, or an able to like a quick change
material
from your
loadouts.
inventory.
Kind of what I'm talking about is like you can set like
Or have
pre-built
set
materia,
pre-built loadouts.
pre-built loadouts that you can swap to, because I swear to God, dude, the worst part of this game was manually
switching all your
swapping
materia.
each
Yeah,
materia. And every time you got to a different part of the game and you had to swap all of your materia over to another party member, and you had to do it individually instead of like, here, shift all this row, or here, shift your entire loadout to this character. No, I have to hit triangle 9,000 times
Yeah.
to bring my materia over.
Yeah.
I had specific builds for everybody, so I never shifted.
Listen.
So
you if you get optimized, you know, then you have to like you get HP, MP, all that stuff. But if you're just like, hey, let me just barrel through and let me just enjoy and have the certain set spells on people. No, like I'm with you, Alex. Like you need to have a materia shift. Like make it easier.
Make sure
at least do it by rows or something,
and heal and attack magic.
I mostly did it Matt's way. My first, like, through right up until the end game, when I decided to start trying to like do all the other stuff. And once I needed to beat tougher enemies, and once I needed to like really figure some stuff out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to play with the materia a lot more. And then I definitely
I just had my crew. I just made sure I had what they had on them, and
rocky roll.
Made sure everybody else was set up.
There
It's
it
kind of what
Look
I
at
did
this
with
guy.
This-
kind of what I did with FF13. I had my crew. Everyone else was still stocked with stuff
Real.
that they needed, but
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I'll let you
Yeah.
be the expert on 13 since you
Yeah.
know.
Ah,
Yeah.
give me
Sentinel.
13. Just
All right.
square.
Jerry?
Give me
Jerry,
13.
Sentinel the whole
you had yours, Jerry?
I kind of played the same way as Drew and Matt a little bit. I switched up my materia here and there, the same way. But I feel like it was quite often. Like I reset my materia, not so much, but quite a bit, I feel like. But for the most part, when I felt comfortable, like through a chapter, I just kept what I had.
So what would you add? Like if you had one requested item to have
For
in
me, honestly, like I'm very much into like the story and more immersiveness. So I would really just like the back group members to maybe contribute a little bit more. And honestly, that would be it.
all right.
Because
Jason or Drew?
I mean, I do understand the arguments of like the open worldness, the
Yeah.
getting the towers. I may be used to the Ubisoft formula. I do rather enjoy it because I'm kind of a I like that type of open world checklist, ADD, complete. But I do get it. I do understand that.
Yeah.
I understand, like, explore because you want to discover, not explore because you have to
Mhm.
open up, because it opens up known possibilities. Like, yeah, I understand that.
Jason or Drew?
For the next one, I for sure hope, and I haven't really given it a lot of thought, just because, like, it's going to be something different every time. I really hope that they do fix the stats, um, like the stat allocation. The sphere grid that we have for Rebirth, it's kind of too stagnant. Like, yeah, if you get it, if you go through all the way through, yes, you can complete the whole thing. But if you look at what those additives are,
Yeah.
plus 3 MP for 10 SP, I'm like, I'm never gonna honestly prefer that over a new move. The stat allocation for that sphere grid is just not enough, where it's like,
It forces you to do the side quest and the mini games
Correct.
it kind of
to
does
really maximize it.
Yeah, it kind of does, but at the same time, even if you do maximize it, the amount that you gain is so negligible that it's pointless for me. Like, at this point, maybe you might want to do like a Final Fantasy Tactics style, where you can get your EXP, put the points into what you want to do, so then that way you're given more, like,
Well, I think
heavy emphasis on Aerith being a caster versus, or like Barrett being the tank. Because Barrett being the tank, if you put an 8 HP up on anybody else, almost has the same amount of HP as Barrett. It's like, it doesn't make sense to see your tank taking all this damage, the same amount of damage as Aerith, the caster. It doesn't make sense to me.
And I think, Jason,
hopefully,
that's my choice. Like, that is my
hopefully
choice as well.
That allocation is a little bit better. I get that, yes, it's going to be a little bit more complicated for some people, but for you're in disc 3. You're coming into disc 3, so exactly 1, 2 have been going on. You know exactly what you're getting into.
I
So,
also kind of have one little tidbit of what else I would like. Maybe like a quick, maybe a 3 summon list, or just access to all of the summons, not just predicated to one character or your main character. Because I also felt like there were maybe some of the summons that would make certain situations easier based on their actual power. But I would have, I kind of would like that.
Yeah.
I think
Well.
for me, I would like to see more of remakes stat system return. You know, because at least there, Jason, to your point, right? When you dump points into one of the spheres, those were actually it was more meaningful than with the grid that we got for Rebirth, right? And so if you could find like a sweet spot with those, that'd be great, because it was the same thing with 10 with the sphere grid. There is like when you dropped points into stuff, it made a difference.
It made a difference. It
Correct.
was worth putting points into attack
Yes.
10 because your attack would go up. But if you put
there was a
MP
lot of
example.
there was a lot of versatility
Yep.
in it too. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just you weren't just typecast into one thing. Like
Yeah.
Orin
Yep.
could gain speed points as opposed to the power that he naturally had already. So like you could make a speedy power guy,
Yep.
or even like Yuna would go down the black mage route and actually be a better black mage than Lulu.
Yeah.
And now I
Like-
need to play 10 again.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But
But
you-
you one of the best.
I love 10. No, I really enjoy 10.
But
Ten's
you
I've
awesome.
got it.
Yeah,
you have
10
to
is awesome.
decide that it makes that
So-
versatility up to you. Decide how heavy do you promote people, because like
Yep.
for you, Matt, like you had your set crew, you know.
Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud.
Yeah.
That was my crew.
But like for me, like I'm like I want to just enjoy like different
Yeah.
scenarios. You know, I had 13. I had Barrett at points. I had Aerith at points. I didn't really use Tifa that often because
See,
she could not hit anything in the air. As soon as it jumped,
Really? No.
could not hit it.
See, and that's where I think going with the build that I did is she was an absolute beast in the air. Like I had her and Cloud built with a 13 build in mind to just basically stagger the crap out of everything.
Well, and they
And
had
she
that,
was able
that
to get
launch
airborne.
ability. They
Yeah,
had that
and-
launch ability together too. And like that's the thing
Yes.
that you guys were mentioning about synergy. Like it's not
Yeah.
just the actual mechanic synergy, it's synergy with your party members based on your team
Correct.
composition. So
Yeah.
like when you've got Tifa, who's not necessarily
Mhm.
an air brawler, you can launch
Oh.
her up with Cloud that will make her more of an air brawler.
Yeah.
But see,
Then
she
you're
had
kind of squaring away the weaknesses that you might have otherwise because you've got that synergy not only in mechanic wise but also in composition wise.
and depending on the build you go with Tifa, though, you can get them airborne.
Yeah.
She has her own launch ability. Like, so Drew, final thought on what's that one item that you want for the third game?
I thought of it, and I will say I'm not going to be disappointed if we don't get this, because I'm not really sure how technically feasible it is. But it sure would be cool if we could get into the high wind and fly in a mostly seamless world all the way around the world and see everything.
Everything.
Yo.
It's gonna be tough to do given the scale they've already established,
Mm-hmm.
and not make it boring, because ultimately to make it realistic is cool, but no one really wants to take hours to fly between places in a video game. That's
Which
No.
most likely would be like
Yep.
cinematic transitions.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
So, but I think you could create a version of like they did with the overworld map of Final Fantasy 12, but like in the air, or like with 16, where you've got the zones, right? That kind of zone stuff.
Yeah.
But the zones are massive, and you can fly the high wind essentially through each one, but
think-
have mostly seamless transitions in and out of them. As seamless as we can make that. I really want the feeling, because that's one thing that really has been missing from Final Fantasy since 9. We
Yeah.
haven't gotten into an airship and flown over a vast open world. Actually, no, I take it back, and I'm going to give credit where it's due to an oft overlooked Final Fantasy game. 15 actually does
The
give
car,
us-
right?
the car.
The boy band. Yeah.
Yeah, the
That I
car
was just about to
ultimately-
say, well, wait a minute. The
it's
boy
not
band
an
car
airship,
flew, I think.
but yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I sit corrected. But yes,
So-
it's still it's a I think that would be really cool.
I have one last
Yeah,
thing that I
yeah,
think would be a
that'd
good
be cool.
quality of life improvement. And I don't know how some of you feel about this, but this was a big one for me, especially towards the end of the game. The in-boss cutscenes. Like, I feel like they need to have an option that once you have
skip.
gotten
Or yeah.
past a certain point, that you're not seeing the same 30-second cutscene
Yeah.
leading up to this part of the boss battle. Like,
Okay.
there was
Yeah,
a
that's
spot
fair.
in specifically the Sephiroth boss battle at the end where it was the one where he had the giant nutsack thing hanging down from him.
Yeah.
Right. And once you got past that point, you get to, I think, the party's back fighting him again on that platform.
Yeah.
And if you die, you have to go all the way back to
Yeah.
before where
Correct,
Sephiroth
yeah.
was fighting Cloud.
Okay.
And like, I don't mind that I had to go back, but then it's having to watch that cutscene over and over and over again on hard mode because I was getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like, after so many times of seeing it, I'm like, there needs to be options in boss battles where cutscenes are either shortened to a certain point. Like, if there's important dialogue you want the player to hear again, like, I get that. But sometimes
Once you
it's
hear
like,
it once,
it's
it
almost like
trigger it to
well, yeah, it's almost like a glorified loading screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
or like Kojima putting a save point in the middle of Metal Gear Solid 4
Yeah,
because the cutscene's so long. So
funny. No, I
so-
totally agree with that, but I will say there has to be one massive exception. Whenever in part 3 Sephiroth casts Supernova, that has to be a 5-minute long unskippable cutscene that goes
Eden from Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
did
guys,
that.
do you think they are gonna have a Knights of the Round Easter egg in the last one?
I think it's going to be in there.
It's gonna
Do you
be
think it's
there.
gonna be in there?
Oh,
I think it's gonna be in it.
I don't think it's
And
gonna be
I
in
think
it. I don't think it's
I think
gonna
we
be
need
in
to
it.
get
Oh, yeah.
Neo Bahamut.
I
Oh, yeah.
believe they actually said that it was going to be in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like,
yeah.
Knights of the Round.
So-
Didn't they? They had like an interview or something, and I think Hamaguchi mentioned it, and he said that we're going to try to work with it because it's a fan favorite and everybody
Mhm.
wants it.
well,
But they're
everybody
still
wants it because they
working-
just
Oh, I don't remember
walk
that.
away.
They're still
Like,
working on the technical side of it.
Oh,
like,
it's gonna be
Do
technical.
you,
so
think it's
we've-
gonna be the long 7-minute?
No, but 14
Summit.
did it and did it well. So I would think like a single player game where they could focus on that
Mhm.
and make it a summon, like where it doesn't have to be each individual thing fighting. It's just basically like a cutscene, or like kind of like they did in 14 where Thornton would summon
Yeah, but
each
even
night
in
of the round as he
Right.
saw fit. You
yeah,
know what I
well,
mean?
but he summoned each one individually, and they were like different parts of the battle.
Just give me the full thing.
You know, so it
I
was-
actually
it-
think what would be cool in implementing this in a way that kind of goes with the lore, but also like is just really cool, is if kind of like how we did the checklist system in Rebirth. If
Mhm.
in order to get Knights of the Round, because it is so overpowered, you
You have to go get each night.
every location you go to in
Oh,
the
is
game
a location for a night as well.
is
Yeah.
there's a hidden
Yeah.
location
Yeah.
for one of the knights, and then once you get all of them together, then you
It's
have
like
to
forming
fight
Voltron.
them.
Yeah.
And I also I
Forming
think too,
Voltron.
another thing that kind of bothers me about the whole like simulation thing is that getting summons doesn't feel adventurous or natural like it did before, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Like you found
you-
them, or
right.
yeah, when
you
finally
found
discovered
Titan
them, yeah.
in the junk pile, when you found Knights of the Round on the island, when you found like Shiva or Alexander in the ice cave,
Mhm.
like that felt cool because you were exploring, you were doing
Mm-hmm.
boss battles, you were
Versus going to
Yeah.
unlock these couple of
It
things. and
was
here you
it
go, and
was
it's
my
gonna
like,
be
oh
right.
damn,
Okay.
is this a summon? Oh, this is
Yeah.
a summon, sweet. Like,
If
yeah.
it was like lying in a
Yeah.
box somewhere.
So, real quick, we got like 15 minutes
appreciate
left in the show. I want to cover a couple of things because we did have a state of play today.
Oh yeah.
So, real quick, I'm gonna just do a quick rundown on it. So with Astrobot, they're going to be adding speed runs and 10 new bots to rescue. As part
Booyah.
of a free DLC in the fall. I will absolutely go get that and do everything with it. You had the next one that they had, one of the bigger ones that they had was Pal World is launching today on the PlayStation. We'll see how long that lasts because Nintendo has officially filed a lawsuit
Yep.
against
Ooh.
against Pocket for trademark infringement in Japan. So we'll see how far that goes.
Did you see what that's over?
I didn't read the whole
No.
details on it. It's just that they
the catching mechanic.
Well, I mean,
Really?
honestly, we've been joking around that it's Pokemon with guns since it launched. So
Right, but that was
You
the
know,
appeal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the
um,
fact that they're patenting like a very simple mechanic is just so I don't get it. It's just annoying to me. I feel like
Anyways,
Nintendo does this and then people just forgive them for it.
So we are getting the Lunar Remastered Collection, so Silver Star and 2. It goes back to the original PS1 day. I owned Silver Star back in the day, and it was a great game.
It's a classic.
We saw a little bit more on Dragon Age Veilguard coming out Halloween. Legacy
Looking
of
good.
Kain 1 and 2 remastered.
Oh my God, good one.
November.
Finally.
Hashtag bring back Legend of Dragoon.
Yes.
Yeah, right. They gave us all a tease by giving us a version of it, not a remaster, but just, hey, here's
I'll
an
still
updated
take
version.
it, man. I'll still take it.
It's
with
already
better
out on the
graphics.
PlayStation Store. I own it.
No, like an updated with like
Oh, an update. Yeah, it needs to
Yeah.
be remastered.
Where the battles
Um,
don't take 20 minutes each.
yeah.
Yep. We did get a little bit more on Lego Horizon that, if you pre-order the game, you're getting Sackboy, you're getting Ratchet and Rivet costumes and some other things.
A platinum Aloy or something
yeah.
like that, and all silver Aloy or something.
And right after that, I was like, yes, here's my money. They did announce Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered.
Yay!
This is one of those ones
that
that
is
the
the
game
most pointless shit besides The Last of Us remastered.
Unnecessary.
This is purely
not
my
really.
ADD saying.
So they're
Colin, but
so
I'm
absolutely
buying it
getting
because
it.
now it's officially
I'm getting it.
PS5. So I'm getting a physical.
it's gonna be Forbidden West graphic.
I'm getting a physical copy.
Unnecessary.
I agree.
So see,
Totally
here's the thing:
agreed.
is Last of Us remake was unnecessary in my opinion. Right? This is just
video
updating.
games are unnecessary, you guys.
So is this.
They're just
So is
going
this.
None of
they're
this
going
shit
the-
necessary, brothers.
they're going the Ghost of Tsushima
It's a
route,
luxury.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is anybody who owns the original, Zero Dawn, it's gonna be $10 to update it to the new version.
Well, in that
So-
case,
Still unnecessary.
$10. My God.
Still unnecessary. Any way you put
necessary.
it, still unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Like
I
it's a
agree.
Great
I think it's
game as it
unnecessary.
is.
Still saying that, I'm still getting a physical.
Here's my
copy.
money. Anyways, they announced new controller plates and colors, so indigo, pearl white, and teal.
The teal
And
looked
then-
pretty cool.
They ended it with the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima with Ghost of Yotai
Oh my
coming
God.
next year from Sucker
Take my
Punch.
money.
Yes.
Take my money, sucker punch.
It looks amazing. You get to they were showing you dual wielding now katanas and whatnot. So I think that for anybody that hasn't played Ghost of
Next
Tsushima,
collector's
that is probably,
edition. Thank you.
Ghost
that
was
is-
probably my third platinum ever. It is one of my
It
favorite
is-
games of all time.
and it is absolutely a beautiful game, whether you were on PS4 Pro or PS4 or you upgraded to the PS5 version. That game is stunning.
Gorgeous.
Sucker Punch just delivered in all aspects of that.
It looks great.
Um,
I really it's serendipitous. I really got into the instrument that is obviously going to be integral to the game. I started following him on TikTok, a lot of musicians playing that instrument. So
Yep.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
And we are now going into the theater,
I was gonna say,
kind of,
what-
sort of.
Nice.
There's 6 of us, so we got to kind of all
Holy hell, we have a different theater?
we have a different theater because there's more
Oh.
than 4 of us, Jay. Because our
Oh.
normal theater is 4. So, anyways, Jason, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about
Oh wow.
that time of the month for you.
Oh my God, October. Look at
So
October.
October is coming up super quick. They used the state of play to announce the monthly games instead of waiting till like 4 days before. So the monthly games for October are going to be
Banger.
WWE 2K24, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, and Dead Space.
Nice.
I mean,
good,
it's
good month.
It's kind of fitting for October.
Yeah.
What's being
Yeah,
But,
no
yeah.
shit.
like
Yep.
the 2Ks, it's a 2K game, it's gonna zone out eventually in about 3
Mhm.
months. So I mean, get it out
But
while it's still hot.
Here's the other thing, though. I mean, WWE is probably at the hottest it's been in a very, very long time.
Yeah, but again,
So-
it's a,
But
it's
I
a
also
2K game though.
I also
Yep.
see why they would probably choose this one for October, close to Halloween. You know,
Oh,
people
that's
that
what
they
I'm
would
saying.
want.
The,
For
Yeah,
Dead
the
Space,
next
yeah.
two.
well, not
Dead
just for Dead
Space.
Space, but also like people dress
And
up
then-
as wrestlers. So I
Yep.
can see that too.
And Doki Doki as a Halloween, yes, it is so fitting.
Don't know that
I
one.
mean,
And then
if you don't know that
You
one,
should-
Dre, it is not what it looks like.
No,
So-
no. Don't say anything because we need him to play it. Because
Oh,
holy
you
shit,
should play
It's
it.
a
then.
dating sim.
play it.
It is a dating sim.
Don't
Okay.
don't go into it with any preconceived
play it, 'cause we
notions.
both
Just
need
play
some
the game.
practice.
Just play the game.
and then
It's free.
also
I'm scared for you.
I'm not.
last week,
I want to see
So-
you stream it.
Oh my god.
Me
Okay.
too.
all of us being
Watch he plays with one hand.
Oh God. Well, I mean, hold on. You did mention that it was, you couldn't really see. So, I mean, are you really gonna see it on stream anyways? But anyways, we got this last week.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I hate that I want that so much.
I know. Take my money.
So
Oh,
the 30th anniversary, I can't believe it's already been another decade since the 20th anniversary
20th,
stuff came
yeah.
out. So not only are they making a version of the Pro that says 30th anniversary on it, has the etching on it. You've got a Slim that, I mean, this is all stuff that we all grew up on these colors.
Oh yeah.
For all of us having the original PlayStation and whatnot. I mean, they're doing a special edition Portal in the colors. They're doing a DualSense and a DualSense Edge. So here is, here's the Pro.
Yeah.
They're also, doing carrying cases. You've got if that's legit and that's a charging stand for it,
That's
I'm
the
gonna get that
stand.
charging stand
Yeah, that's the charging stand.
for the controllers.
Yeah.
that's the
Oh,
one.
there's
I want
also
that's the
the-
money right
That's-
there.
The cable
That's the money.
ties. You've
Oh,
got the actual charging cable, which
Yeah.
I'll try and get one of those as much
I'm
as
gonna
I
try
can.
and get those.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the
You know, the
That's-
one thing though that I as much as I love this, and I'm gonna have to restrain myself from getting it.
Mhm.
The thing that I don't like is that it's so limited that you know that scalpers are gonna be
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
oh yeah.
and
tearing
bots,
this thing.
too.
They're gonna
Bots.
If you
tear
don't
this
have a
thing
bot
apart.
ready to go, you're not gonna get one.
Like
Correct.
for me, like realistically, I'm getting a controller.
Right, same.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
I will for sure
my,
get a
my
controller.
dream is like I would love to get that. Like I don't know if that's like
I
the
don't even
little
know. I don't
accessory
even know if
pack
it's gonna be
So
with the
available
charge
separately.
cable, but I would love to get the charge
So
cable.
here's the thing: is they're going to be doing like if you do the all digital, just the plain Jane Slim, right? They're including the disk drive plate just in case you decide to get a disk drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
That's the thing. Why didn't they
that's
just
awesome.
release plates? They needed to just release plates.
that's
or-
another
or
great question.
just
Sure,
for an
Theo,
option.
because if you want to
Money
make
grab.
$1,000, you
Here's
put the whole
the-
thing out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did they
Yeah.
announce a price point for this?
Was it $849? $849 for just the
$849 for
Pro.
the. I think it's
And then
$849.
It's I think it's
$499.
1K. I think it's 1,000 for the entire thing, but it's not. I don't think it's been released. But everybody's
they haven't
speculating
shown,
it's going to be
like,
1,000.
They're speculating. Here's the
1,000 for
DualSense
all of it.
Edge, and they've got the symbols in the
Yeah.
pad now.
The pad
That
that
looks like-
nobody uses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an Edge controller? And if you do,
No.
you like it? Like, I don't even see the point, really. I guess.
And then here's the DualSense. That's what I'm gonna try and grab.
I will
that's
definitely.
slick. I
I'm
like
definitely going
that.
to try and
Mhm.
get a DualSense. Yeah.
So the anniversary collection is going to launch on November 21st. To the limited quantities, the Pro console is going to be limited to 12,300.
Yeah, those are going
On
to get
that,
bought so
so
quick.
Those are botted.
So
If
quick.
you don't
Those will be
have
botted.
a bot
Yeah.
for this, you're not going to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have like pre-orders are actually gonna start up on Thursday for this. Now
So if you're listening to
the-
this on Sunday, it's too late. It's
Mhm.
gone.
Rip me. I'm too busy buying baseball memorabilia.
So for me, I
Sorry.
look at it the all digital. the pre-orders go up on the PlayStation Direct store on the 26th. You can go to participating retailers on October 10th. The DualSense wireless controller, the controller itself is going to go up at participating retailers on September.
Damn. Look at the
26th.
packaging too. Oh,
Like the packaging is all classic.
that's so
like,
sick. Yeah, that
I
takes me back.
Guarantee you, like, this is one of those things that, you know, to your point, like, you're gonna have to show up at like GameStop like minute one, you know, to even try and get a pre-order on the controller.
Not minute one. You need to get there
well, at
3 days
store
before.
and everything. Like,
This,
you know,
this is
so
right now.
Thing is, if there's so
that
few,
high, bro.
Like if you think about it, 12,300. They're going to be selling it on the
Of the
PlayStation,
pros.
like the PlayStation Direct. They're going to be selling it at GameStops, Walmart, stuff like that. How many, like legitimately, how many PS5 Pros with this bundle are even going to be available in a store, right? Like there might be, you might not have a store within 50 miles of you that has one.
Yep.
There's so few. So it's like even going to GameStop, you don't know until you call. And by the time you call, it's too late.
Yep. So with that, you know, it's still, I think it's a good time to be a PlayStation fan with everything getting ready to come out.
And also check out some of the other indies, and we got some.
It was a good.
Like,
it was a good state of play.
We got some original titles from the state of play to check out. Some were very interesting that I'm going to check out as well.
So with that though, I do want to thank Drew and Soldier for coming back for a part 2 for the discussion, so we could finish that thing off properly. If this was your first time crashing, thank you. For those that lurked in the background, just checked us out. If you like what you heard, drop us a follow here on Twitch. Head on over to crashinggamenight.com. Check out the profiles and the past episodes that these fine fellows have been on. I have a feeling if I can pull it off, they may be back somewhere about November 11th, which is episode 300.
Oh,
geez.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So I've already
Right around
got
the
some
corner.
past guests
Right around
already
the
lined
corner.
up for that. But yeah, we're tonight's 293. So we are 7 episodes. Oh shit. That thing's pretty.
Sick.
Anyways,
nice.
but you know, check out all our past episodes on over there. We're carried on every platform, but with everything else going on in the world, guys, just please be excellent to each other.
That's everybody. That's right, everybody. All you nerds out there. Once again, we want to send out that same message. Boys, thank you for joining again. Always welcome. You guys are part of the family, so like, obviously, come by anytime. Oh man, the jealousy just keeps growing and growing.
Would you? Yeah,
I didn't get Rebirth Collector. Sorry. So,
and just want to say to everybody, please, we'll keep this short. Just try to do and be better out there. Practice a little patience, a little bit more understanding, and try to help out when you can. And be safe out there. J-Rock, the lion's mane to you, my man.
It's not fully back yet, but
It's coming.
To hone in on Soldier's point though, yeah, if they are releasing 12,300, there's only going to be per state on average, if you go just based on the states, 246 available for each state. Granted, some of them are larger, some of them are smaller, so it can vary, but that is not including online sale. So
True, that is true.
the other thing is, are they selling it only in the US, or is it 12,300 for like the world?
I think it's the world.
Well, then
Holy
we're only going to get
shit.
7.
Yeah.
So, you know,
So-
so
Anyway.
We will probably get the majority of them, I would think, but I would guarantee like at least 1,000 are going to go to like Europe.
Yeah,
What's the
that-
first
Europe.
guess on listing on eBay for price wise?
yeah,
Are we saying
$10,000?
That's a
I
good
was gonna
one.
say-
10,000?
I was
Okay,
going to say
alright.
20 grand.
Easy
I think I would go
10,000. And
I
I
think
say that
easy 10,
because
yeah.
do you remember the PS3 when that was selling for like what, 2
Well,
grand?
I remember the 20th
Something like that, yeah.
anniversary edition went for like 2-3 grand at launch. So anyways,
So, 2-3
Jason.
grand
Yeah,
for
but how
Matt.
many of those were there?
Soldier 10.
yeah,
Jerry said 20.
I think 20.
I'll
Theo,
go
what do you
5.
think?
I'm
I
going
think
5.
10.
5,
I'm
10,
gonna
20.
say
All right.
You got to
So-
think.
the immediate price, like as soon as sales go on,
Yeah,
That's why
immediate,
I'm going. That's why
immediate.
I'm going 20.
the
Right.
bots will list it at like 5.
Five.
Okay.
Bots will
I
list it
think
at 5.
10,
All right.
man. I
Even
think
an
10.
hour, it'll go up to 10.
Drew, you want to throw pennies in the dish bowl?
It all just makes me sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should
All right.
pool, we should pool
Absolutely.
together.
But I want it so bad.
All
Jason
6
just
of us
took
should
us right
pool
off
together.
the rails.
Yo, hey,
Go back to your
It wouldn't be
stick.
Crashing Game Night if we didn't. It wouldn't
It's
be if
just,
we
look,
didn't.
man, I
But some of
love
us still have a
video
kids'
games.
night.
I have loved video games since I was a very
So-
little kid. They have helped me shape who I am. And I just cannot fathom spending 10 grand on one system,
No.
no matter how good it is.
No,
right.
I think it's
The
gonna be. I
the
think it's right
thought-
there
and-
at 10G.
I'll just
right.
I'm gonna prices right it a little bit, and I'm gonna go with 8. I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna just shoot a little bit.
$1,
underneath.
Bob.
Oh,
I
thought
really
it
thought
was-
I really
dude.
thought you were
One.
going to say 9,900.
Do I need
to?
Do I need to just steal Jason's
It'd be
thunder
10,00001
to get us back on rails?
Yeah.
to
No,
end this thing?
no,
Ten
we're
thousand
There's no
coming
such
out,
thing.
bro. Like,
No such thing.
it's just a curious point.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, yes, it is election time in about 2 months. We did have our debate, that Matt so emphasized loving to watch. But anyways, we are having that 2 months, less than 2 months.
Not even.
Yeah,
we are
month and a half.
6 weeks out, I think,
something
from
like-
elections.
So
So
let's say month and a half out from election time. So please just go out there, take a look at some of the laws that are being passed around your state, your county, because those are the important ones for you. Yes, we do have a president that we need to elect, so please just take a look and see what is fitting for you, because your vote does matter, at least in the smaller states and the smaller counties. Okay,
Mhm.
so just if you don't agree with a lot of the stuff that's happening in the macro, please check out the micro. Anyways, guys, it is that time of night. We again, Soldier, Drew, thank you guys for coming back for round 2, part 2, part Rebirth. We got the extra, the extra extended cut, if you want to put it, 0.5.
Steal.
No, don't
Steal.
this
I'm
guy.
gonna steal it.
All right, calm down, Trump. Anyways,
Wow.
it is that time of night. My man, Białowski.
Dude,
Send us
Rufus,
out
go
because
somewhere.
Matt's rushing me.
Go somewhere, Shinra.
Thank you, Soldier. Thanks, Drew. Thanks for joining. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, TTFN. That's for now.
Good night, everybody.